Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to set up your speed lights using the 622 triggers and the 622 TX controller. I've had several people ask about setting it up and using it and trying to make their speed lights work, so hopefully this little demo here will make things simple to understand. So as you see here, I've got my 5D Mark II set up with a 622 TX controller on top of it. Then I've got a couple of 568 EX2 speed lights and then also a 565 EX speed light. These are mounted on the 622C triggers because the C stands for Canon and the N stands for not. No, just kidding. The N stands for Nikon. They work exactly the same way for the most part. There are a couple little differences between the Canon and the Nikon, and I'll explain those settings in just a second. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to figure out how many lights you're going to use. You need to have a trigger on each speed light mounted to the base of it here. You just turn that on, and we're going to use this one under grouping A, so we'll set that on group A. We're going to shoot on channel 1. We can shoot on multiple different channels, multiple different groups, however you want to do it here, but today this one is going to be group A, channel 1. Okay, so we'll turn our speed light on, and with the Canon it doesn't matter if the speed light is on manual or on TTL, but with the Nikon the speed light has to be on TTL, and to do that you just hit the mode button here until it gets to ETTL, or on Nikon it'll be ITTL. But for demonstration purposes I'm just going to set this up just like I would a Nikon. So there we go, we got that there. Next we'll go here and we'll set up our 565. As you see, I've got that on group B and channel 1. So we'll go ahead and turn this guy on. And the same thing, we'll just go ahead and we'll put it in TTL mode as well. The last one here is another 568. And we'll go ahead and put it on TTL. And we're going to set this guy up on group C. Now you saw me pressing a little button on the side. There is a group setting button on the side here. That helps me to choose my grouping there. So we'll go to group A, group B, and finally down to group C. So we're going to set this on group C. Again, it's on channel 1, set to TTL. That way it's not confusing for the Nikon people. Next, we're going to get our camera. We're going to get our controller here, turn that little guy on, and as you see I've already got some settings in there. I've got it set on manual to 1/4, 1/8, 1/32. All of the zooms are at 24 millimeters, and I do that whenever I'm shooting through a modifier. Depending on the situation and what you're doing will depend on how you want your flash zoomed. So for this today we're gonna just go with what I have set up here. And you notice up here in the right I have it on channel 1. So group A, like I said, 1/4 power, group B 1/8 power, group C 1/32 power. Now let's say I wanted to change the power on group C. In order to do that, I'll come up here to my GR button, that means group. I'll press that and it'll move the little arrow down until I get to group C. And if I want to go in full increments on the flash, I hit the right or left button here and I can bump that up. Don't know if you can see it very well due to the lighting there, but I can change the settings there by full increments on the flash. Now if I want to go by third stop increments on the flash, I hit the up and down button, so I can control that by third stops. Let's say I want to change the zoom on group C. So I'll come right over here, it says zoom, and I'll press the button until I get over to group C, and I'll just bump it up right there. Now I'm at 70 millimeters, and if I want to change group B, I'll hit zoom again. I'll get back to group B, and let's see here, we'll go to 35 millimeters on group B, and we'll just leave A at 24. So right now these are all set up to go, and I can communicate with my speed lights. This thing, it can be around the corner, it can be in the other room, it can be 100 feet away from you, whatever you need to. This thing works fantastic. So let's pick up group A's speed light and see what the settings are on it. According to this, it should be 1/4 power and 24 millimeters. So here we have group A, right? Alright, oh, looky there. 1/4 power, 24 millimeter. Okay, so let's say we want to change the zoom on speedlight B. So we will go to our TX, we'll hit the zoom, we'll go to selection B. Right now I've got it set on 70, and we'll bump that up to 105. Select that, and it should automatically change your speed light. So we'll pick up our speed light here, and if you notice right there, the zoom is now at 105. Well, 105 is going to give us too tight of a light, so let's change that back to 24 since we're going to be shooting through a softbox. So we'll just come over here, we'll bump it down, we'll hit 24, select it. And if you hear that little noise, that's the motor and the speed light moving. And there it is. It zoomed down to 24. Alright, so now we've learned how to zoom, we've learned how to change the power settings, and we've got them all set up in different groups. So now what you want to do is, if you want to take a picture, you'll take a photo, and if one of your lights is too bright on your subject, you just go over here and you make an adjustment. Turn it down where you want it. We'll turn B down to 1/28 power. So I'll pick it up here, and there it is, it's changed. Pretty simple to do. You can set up as many speed lights as you want in each group as long as you have the 622 triggers to control them. The speed light has to be a TTL capable speed light. It won't work on 100% manual speed lights because of the communication that they do. So next we're going to set up and do high-speed sync on our 568s. The 565 is not capable of high-speed sync, so it won't trigger at high speed. But what you want to do to get to high-speed sync is you'll hit the sync button right here on your controller. And if you'll notice this little icon right there, that is the rear curtain sync icon, which means the flash will go off as the shutter is closing instead of right as the shutter opens. So if you're doing a long exposure and then you want to freeze some motion in it, you can use that. Pretty cool little thing. Comes in handy occasionally. But anyway, we're going to go to high speed now, so we hit the sync button one more time. And if you'll notice right up here in the top left, there is a little H inside of a box with a little lightning bolt looking thing beside it. That means we're at high speed sync. And that means that we can take our camera and we can make our adjustments, and we can go up to 1/8,000th of a second for our exposure. Now, the two 568s will do that. The 565, it will not. So, make sure that you have high-speed sync capable speed lights whenever you're trying to shoot over, say, about 1/250th of a second. So now that we have turned on the high-speed sync command on our controller, let's look at our speed light to see what happens there. And if you'll notice, we have that same little icon, the H inside the box with a little lightning bolt beside it. That means it is set to go off at high speeds. Another cool little thing that you can do with your controller is you can set a different group. Let's say we're going to go to group C, and we are going to change that to TTL mode. Alright, so we want group C to go based on what the camera says, but we want to still control group A and group B manually. So you can set that up. You can adjust for exposure compensation just by hitting the little buttons here. Really neat feature of this. You can go in full stop increments, or you can go in third stop increments, just like whenever you're controlling your regular flash in manual mode. That is a basic rundown on using the 622TX to control your speedlights. There are a few other settings that we did not go over. I'll be glad to make a video to go over those specific ones if you have any questions on using them. Most of those features are something that the majority of people don't use on a daily basis, but what I went over today is something that we tend to use fairly often. So if you have any questions or comments, just leave them at the bottom of the page, and thanks for watching.